Hey y'all, my name is Ada Grace, and you're listening to Black Girl Talks Pop, where I talk about pop culture and all the hits and misses in between. I wanted to start off season 2 by recapping some K-pop news, so let's get into it.
Now we shall make a stop for K-pop. At this time, I'll discuss what's bringing me up and what's bringing me down in my favorite music genre. This is based on my own opinion, so any crime is alleged and your feelings about your faves may not be protected. Shall we? Let's begin. So I have a question. Why is the baddest female at Taco Bell? Ivy Park? Yes. Taco Bell? No. You don't have to break every barrier, break every barrier, break every barrier. This is not a representation problem. This is a product of hustle culture. Not everything has to be your thing. Not all representation is good for the brand. I actually think the first K-pop group who should have collaborated with Taco Bell should have been Car during their Ola Ola era, because what goes better with video games than a Baja Blast? Taco Bell is very it's the college student of fast food chains. I said that right? Let's just pretend I did. If you can have a week's worth of meals for $10, it should be for someone in college. So Card, at the beginning of their career up to that point, had a very college-based fandom. If you were an older K-pop fan in age, I think you definitely felt like you could rock with Card. They were a little bit older, a little bit more mature, but they still felt like friends you could kick back and hang out with. And so I really felt like Taco Bell would have been the perfect choice for them at that time. I think probably up to Dumb Litty, they really fit that aesthetic. But of course, DSP didn't think about it. But I've talked about my issues with DSP and Card before, so we won't get back into that. I think that because of hustle culture, CL wants to do everything but give us an album, and we can't blame YG anymore. I do think that based on her time at YG, CL is scared. CL has painted herself as the baddest female, so she thinks that we think she should give us the best album in K-pop. But I have news for CL. I hope this relieves any pressure she might have. No one is expecting the best music in K-pop from CL. There are other artists that are doing that. However, we don't need music that sounds like it was from 2017 or 2015. We want music that sounds like it came in this decade. So I do think that CL is one of the best performers in K-pop. She is a superstar. She just has that X factor. There are very talented people that do not have the X factor. Fortunately, CL has both. And I would like for her to perform new music that sounds like it was made this year or last year. No other years. I'm very tired of it. But she needs to get into the studio or release the music that she recorded last year and didn't release for some reason. I'm really tired of the games. So now I'm looking at UCL and saying, what are you afraid of? Especially if you are the baddest female, you have nothing to prove to anyone, right? Just give us some music, and then we'll critique it. And then you'll come out with better music, and then we'll critique it. And you can grow, your artistry can grow. I think that's one problem with K-pop, and I'll talk about it later. Everyone has to come out as this polished artist that's been doing it for years. It's the Mamamoo effect. Everyone has to come out being a perfect professional, and your music cannot grow anymore. Mamamoo grew as performers over time. They were a lot better at performing than their contemporaries, but they've definitely gotten better at that area over time, and they had a lot of opportunities to learn. And CL has not had that many opportunities to give us a body of work as a solo artist, and I think that she'd be able to grow and really have music that backs up that image if she chooses to keep it. I personally think she should let the baddest female thing go. I'm tired of all these baddies. I feel like if you have to constantly tell me how amazing you are with you are the baddest female, you are the godmother of K-pop, it gets old over time. I don't want you to tell me, I want you to show me. And I felt that 5 Stars did a better job of doing that than Hwa did. I felt like Hwa was another anthem, and 5 Stars really gave us an aesthetic, a story. Make me believe that you are better than me. Make me want to be part of your world. Like, make me want to believe in the story, believe in the music, and support you as an artist. I loved a singing CL. When most of these artists come out as like a singer and rapper, I usually prefer their singing side, so that was very nice for me. I want her to do her J job. CL, you are a singer first, so do your J job, please. I think an album is 8 songs or more, so this can still be a mini album of 7 songs. I would like 4 new songs with the 3 singles, and these 7 songs cannot include an instrumental or I will be furious. Unless the instrumental is for 5 stars. Okay, thanks, bye, good luck. I'll be watching you, CL. That was today's stop for K-pop. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let's proceed to the next segment. Now it's time for Conspiracy Theories with Grace. I think there's a K-pop version of Democrats dunking on Republicans that everybody loves to hate, and that's when these K-pop reporters dunk on YG. I find it very suspicious. There is a conspiracy in the K-pop industry and between fandoms to paint YG as the worst company, when it's just not true. The truth is, all of these companies are bad. There are some that are doing very bad things in comparison to others, but I feel like there's a lot of stories that we don't talk about because we are all so distracted hating on YG for whatever reason. So let's talk about why people love hating YG. First of all, they depicted themselves as not like the other girls. YG always had this false narrative that they were feeding us through the industry. They were artists. I can't go on variety shows. If I do a reality show, it's because my artist started their reality show without telling me. I can't do that. I can't hang out with the other K-pop groups because I'm busy making true music. It's not like the rest of the surface level manufactured stuff. I have a vision. I have a plan. And when you hear this music, it will be worth the wait. And so the industry kind of side-eyed them like, really? You guys are too busy making the world's greatest K-pop? Okay, we'll see. So that really distanced them from the industry and burned down some bridges. Then there's the whole thing of scarcity. They have been emotionally tormenting fans with every single group. There's this idea that because my music is so mind-blowing, I can't do a comeback every year, or I do one comeback a year. And then your fans are wondering, is this group gonna break up? Is this the last time we get together? This artistry could be the last thing we ever hear from this group. I have to buy it in bulk. I have to keep streaming. I have to support them because then YG will see that their voice is worth sharing more than once a year. And so that really turned fans off. I'm still here for you, but I'm not here for you, YG. Then there's the image that most of these groups have. A lot of these groups don a stereotypical version of blackness, and we know that blackness is already criminalized, so there was always this feeling that there is something seedy about YG. There's something grimy going on there. There's something suspicious going on there. Those people are up to no good because they are associating with something that the world has deemed as bad due to racism. So it's cool, but it's also like rebellious. It's so wrong, it's right because it's not actually black people, that kind of thing. So when there was actual criminal behavior, all hell broke loose because they don't have any allies in the industry. No one's out here protecting a YG artist. You don't see YG artists have friends within other companies that might want to cover for them. We heard from Park Bom when she got on Roommate by some miracle that she doesn't hang out with other K-pop groups because everybody saw 21 as scary. They don't really seem to have very many industry friends. And then there's the angry fans that are like, really? So while you guys could have been in the studio or while you could have listened to my artist work, you guys were doing criminal behavior. Are you kidding me, YG? And then there's a world that's like, I knew it, they're criminals. Anyone that's willing to sing while wearing cornrows is doing something bad. YG, a man in the company, had lost so much goodwill with everyone. It's easy to say, really, this is worth 2 years, YG, or we'll believe it when we see it, YG, or whatever shady thing you want to say. But they're not the only ones lying about comebacks. They're not the only ones giving you disappointing comebacks. They're not the only ones overselling, but they're the ones that everyone likes to pick on. And I think there are other examples that we need to talk about just as much. So I have linked down below a K-pop channel that has done 2 documentaries on Pleiades and TS Entertainment. I love After School. I love Kristen. I still think Kristen gave us one of the best debuts as well as debut mini album. So seeing them fall apart really broke my heart. TS Entertainment was really sad. I was listening to like snippets of each single and being like, oh, I know that one. I know that one. Wow, I have been moving in secret this whole time. And that's just something I'm going to have to live with. I proudly say that I am low-key a secret time. I love those girls. I really hope the best for each one of them. And I think I'm going to be reviewing a mini album by one of the members soon. So I'm excited about that. Let's talk about these enemies of progress that block the path towards Black liberation. One enemy of progress that I want to discuss is the Democratic Party. I've been listening to this podcast called The Rubicon, where they talk about Biden's first 100 days of office, and there seems to be a disconnect between the expectations I had of this podcast and the reality of this podcast. So I expected the host to talk to an expert about an area of Biden's policy every week. That expert would explain what's happening, share the progress, and give the Biden administration some advice on what they can do to improve. Instead, I get 1 or 2 excuses, so I'll talk through those. The first excuse is you don't know how politics works, aka this won't poll well. There seems to be this West Wing idea, and maybe that was just art imitating life, but there's this idea that the Democratic Party can talk down to the people that voted for them, and those people will continue to vote Democrat because their life literally depends on it. But there comes a point where people realize that, oh, the Republicans aren't helping me, and the Democrats aren't helping me. How about I vote for none of them? If the Democrats lose during the midterms, they have no one to blame for themselves, because I just don't get the point of talking down to us and making us seem that we're too stupid to know what politics works, but still expect us to engage in the political system when it's not serving us. Here's my rudimentary understanding of politics. I vote blue down the ballot, and then you guys deliver on your promises, especially when you're the party in power. But instead, I'm being told, oh, you don't know what politics works because the things I voted for won't poll well. Who are you polling? Liberals are obsessed with people that don't vote for them, and that's the quote-unquote hard-working Americans, those older white voters in the Midwest or the South that just seem so cute and charming, but have very problematic, racist, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic views. But oh man, if we just sat down and talked to them, we could change their minds, or we could just not change their minds but laugh because we're all human. Why focus on these people? Why not focus on the very human, very hardworking, Black, Asian, Latinx, young people that have been voting for you and are spreading information that is encouraging other people, that encouraging their older family members, encouraging white people to vote for you? We are the future of this party. We are the backbone of this party, carrying this party into the future, or trying to drag this party into the future. But we are not the ones being polled. We are not the ones that are supposed to benefit from Democrats being in power. So instead of really admitting that they don't care about us, they're saying that, oh, you guys just don't understand politics. When it's like, no, I understand that part of politics is lying. And I kind of feel like I was oversold on what this new administration would do. And the second excuse is Biden's doing so much that Twitter isn't talking about. Well, I don't do paid work for free, so I only engage with the information that I am given. If I am given that Biden's promises are very easy, or that Biden didn't really take time to think through how this vaccine would be delivered to millions of Americans by a certain time, and maybe there needs to be more logistics in place, that's the information I'm working with. If you want to give me a news story, that is your job. But there seems to be this false expectation that Twitter and TikTok pundits will do Democrats' work for them. Are these Twitter and TikTok pundits getting paid $250,000 a year? Most likely not, but we are supposed to share the good news of what Biden's doing and call out Republicans for misinformation when we are not the ones in Washington. It blows my mind. So what are these Democrats doing instead? Well, it seems that they're watching Fox News. So if any of them posted something within the last week claiming, I don't stand for hate or prejudice, or I'd never support a hateful organization, or this is white supremacy and I cannot tolerate it, delete your post because you're watching Fox News. I used to see Fox News call themselves the #1 network, and I'd always think this is a lie. But now I've talked to different progressives, or like people that vote Democrat throughout the years, and I'm realizing that maybe it's true. From people saying, oh, I just watch it because they're just so funny and crazy, or I hate watch it, or as this congressman on the Rubicon said, he watches it to find out what the other side is saying. I would think that the other side is saying what's not being said on our side. I thought that was easy and simple, but it seems to be just so complicated. Like the number of scandals that Fox News, quote unquote scandals, because it's just paying them more attention. It's just giving them what they want, which is engagement. You're literally paying these people in your time. Money is entering their pockets by giving them the time of day, and you guys are still engaging. I fail to understand it. How many times have they said something racist? Why is it a surprise? I do feel like some of these people watch Fox News so they can have something to talk back at and kind of distract from the fact that they're not as productive or they have a problematic past, but that's a different discussion. I think that if we really don't want to support hateful, prejudiced, fear-mongering institutions, then you shouldn't watch Fox News. I think that's simple. Secondly, stop using Twitter to dunk on Republicans. Unless they're spreading misinformation, ignore them. Tweet less. I personally don't follow politicians to my knowledge because I was realizing a lot of you guys are joining us and talking about what Biden isn't doing so that you can have your time in the sun being the most progressive one of all of us. And it's like, do you want your prize in the mail? Should I email you a certificate? I don't really get this. Like, it seems like everyone's just trying to be like a social media star instead of like the most effective public servant. And I find that very annoying. I want you to tweet less. Unless it's a Republican taking credit for something they did not do or being hypocritical, unless it's a way to effectively communicate information that your constituents will need, I want you to focus on doing your job. And then thirdly, stop focusing on people who didn't vote for you. Once you are focused on helping the young people, helping the Black people, the Black women especially, that voted for you, that campaigned for you, that risked their lives for you, not just in your Black History Month tweets, and actually enacting policies that will change our lives, everyone else will benefit.
It's over? Can this podcast go on forever? At the right price, I'll consider it. Check out previous episodes of the podcast. If you're on YouTube, you'll see some on the screen. And listen to the rest of this episode on Patreon for just $5 a month. I'll see you there.